button goes off to snooze and snooze and snooze, and then you're just in bed for 40 minutes and you're rushing out the door. It fires me up. Because that inner voice wants us so bad to just stay stagnant. Our bodies want to be comfortable, but we know that the only way we can grow is by putting ourselves in uncomfortable positions. What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of The Morning Takeaway. It won't be called that for long as we kind of progress into inside influence, as I mentioned on the last podcast at the very beginning. But it is actually super late today. It's 6:15 p.m. I usually do these in the morning because it's a morning takeaway, but also kind of where these podcasts came from was just the way my brain gets going when I exercise, when the endorphins get flowing, when I kind of come to these realizations of kind of my own inner disciplines in a way, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. And before we get going, no, this is not my YouTube pitch yet, but I'm just going to apologize for Juju in the background. She's going crazy. She's got the zoomies and tearing up her toys. So if you hear her or see her, nothing crazy's happened. She's just being her. So now it's time for the YouTube pitch. Don't forget to like this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you're the first one to see my videos. Wow, I've got that down to a T. Now that that's over with, let's talk about the topic today. And I'll keep this one short, but I want to start with a quote, and I've got it right here. Quote, "We must all suffer one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret." Jim Rohn. And I just got back from a 5K run, so 3.1 miles. I think I did a little bit of extra change. And on this run, now first of all, let me say, I usually run every other day. I get my 10K steps. I bike every other day, whatever. But lately, I've kind of just been doing the minimum, like get my 10K steps. All right, I've checked the box. And I've felt stagnant. And I chalk that up to it, and when I say this, I want you to remember that we all live different lifestyles. 10K steps is amazing for everyone, right? If you can get out there and get your 10K steps, I am not degrading you in any way, shape, or form, because that is incredible. For me, however, I am grateful enough to live a lifestyle where I can do a little more, right? And I hold myself to a standard to really physically exhaust myself as much as I possibly can because I enjoy it and I enjoy what comes from it mentally, and it's an opportunity for me to learn, to throw on a podcast or whatever it might be. But that said, I felt a little stagnant, and as I was planning my week this week, last night, which was Sunday night, I went through the week and I wrote run, bike, run, bike, run, bike, run, and every other day, and just like a reminder to get back into my routine. And if you remember, a few months ago, I think it was in November, I did 1,000 jump ropes a day for 30 days straight. And then the next month, I know that was September or October. And then the next month I did a mile. I ran a mile every single day. Some days were more, and if it was just a mile day, I just did a mile, right? But where I'm going with this is that I needed that kind of, oh, look, she's here. Look how cute she looks. Hey, hi, buddy. Anyways, so where I was going with that is the idea that I needed a little bit more structure. And I planned my week out. I just got done with my 5K. And actually this morning I wrote in my journal, and there's a little spot in my journal that I write down the activity that I'm gonna do for today. And this morning when I wrote it at 5:04 a.m., I wrote push workout, I wrote 5K run, I wrote 1,000 jump ropes, and I wrote walk juju. I had done all of those things besides the jump rope. And once it came to my run, I got into my run and I forgot about the jump ropes, but I knew in the back of my head, because I wrote it down that morning, and that's kind of the power of journaling and writing things down, that it was there and it was overhanging, and that was my standard that I've set. And admittedly, in the middle of my run, I was like, oh yeah, 1,000 jump ropes. Well, I haven't done it in a while. Maybe I could do 500 and like that, then I'll feel good. And that right there is the inner voice talking to you, saying, trying to talk you out of things, right? And it's a daily battle, whether it's when the second we wake up in the morning, that button goes off to snooze and snooze and snooze, and then you're just in bed for 40 minutes and you're rushing out the door. It fires me up. Because that inner voice wants us so bad to just stay stagnant. Our bodies want to be comfortable. But we know that the only way we can grow is by putting ourselves in uncomfortable positions. And when I was running and I was like having this conversation with myself, like, oh, 500 ought to be good. Like, at least I did them. Well, that's the same mindset that I've been taking to the past month and a half, however long, and like just doing the bare minimum. And again, that's for me and my lifestyle, but this is applicable to maybe it's your job. Maybe it's waking up in the morning, right? Everybody thinks it's so crazy to wake up at some absurd amount of time. Like 4:30 is pretty early. That's what time I wake up every day. That is a little crazy, right? And crazy is relative. I know people that wake up 3:50 every day and haven't woken up past that but twice in like the past 10 years. But that said, whatever that standard is for you, it's carrying it out. And where that quote, we must suffer one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, where that comes in is in that inner conversation. When you have that inner conversation and you give in to the snooze button or the 500 jump ropes or whatever it might be that you are giving into that voice that's talking to you, right? And you have to ask yourself, is the decision that I'm about to make going to lead to more pain in the immediate suffering that I'm about to go through by doing the extra 500 jump ropes or getting up when my alarm goes off? Or is the pain going to be worse from the regret I have for not doing it? And where that comes into play in these two certain scenarios that I've just randomly started using was, are you going to regret not doing something that you said you were going to do at the time that you said you were going to do it? Right? And I talk about this all the time, doing the little things right, do attention to detail and discipline, right? I talk about it all the time, but I truly believe in the core of my being that discipline is the foundation to action. And honestly, I guess not even that, because action creates discipline. You can't be disciplined without action, but both action and discipline creates momentum, and then that momentum creates progress. And Tony Robbins says this, but progress creates happiness. And I'm a firm believer in that, and if you do the full circle, the action creates happiness, right? And where I was going with that is the idea that, and I talk about it all the time, is when you do something that you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it, and you get it done, you have neurotransmitters that set off. You have things in your brain that are firing electrical signals to tell your brain and your body and your mind and your spirit, everything, that you did good. And these hormones will release, endorphins will release. You literally are proving to yourself that you can do something that you said you were going to do. It builds self-confidence. And when you start to stack these little things on top of each other, it just compounds, and you look up and you're manifesting, whatever it might be in the universe that you want, and it just starts to come true. And you're like, whoa, that's crazy that this is happening. But then you look back and you're like, is it crazy? Because I've been doing the things that I know I needed to do. I'm just finally carrying them out, right? And I think that says a lot, because the pain of discipline, and I attribute that to kind of the here and now. The pain of is it going to hurt right now? Is suffering right now? And side note, in my opinion, we all have to suffer pain, and we all have to feel pain. I think without pain in life, it's hard to form a perspective, or that adversity just creates more of us, and we all have it. We all have adversity. We all have pain, and it's up to us to be vulnerable to that pain and to essentially how we handle it, right? And the emotions that we choose to accept or let in or act upon and carry out. So that pain of discipline in the here and now and the suffering right now, in my opinion, is always, always, always more worth it than the pain of regret. The what if I would have done that? Where could I be if I would have did this? You know, in this example that I'm using, what I would have come back and sat on the couch after eating dinner and been like, wow, okay, well, I feel good because I got a workout in, but dang, those 500 extra jump ropes, right? Or, you know, do you ever remember that feeling like, let's say it was in middle school, I don't know, and you always wake up at 8 a.m. And then that one time that you would wake up at 5 a.m., maybe it was for a flight, maybe it was for something just totally random, and you have the craziest amount of energy in that one time. Like maybe at first when the alarm clock goes off, you're not all that excited, but we've all had that time where you wake up super early, not at a normal time, and you're kind of like, okay, this is new, this is fun, this is awesome. And maybe awesome is not the right word for you, but you just start feeling that like, oh, like it's different, right? And I think that feeling can be so much more consistent if we just legitimately start our days when the alarm goes off, right? And that's pretty simplified, but there is so much to waking up as soon as that snooze or that alarm goes off, because what really is that 5 extra groggy minutes of sleep going to do for you? Everything in your body is disrupted when that snooze button goes off. You know, and that's just the little example I've been using, but the pain of regret, in my opinion, is far more permanent than the pain of discipline. The pain of discipline, and I think, wow, that's actually really just triggering in my brain right now. The pain of discipline is an option. You can choose to be disciplined, and if you don't, then you regret it, right? And that regret is permanent. You can do 500 more the next day, but on that one day, you didn't fulfill a promise to yourself. And that was good. I don't have anybody here to talk to about it, but that was good in my opinion. So anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap it up right there. And I ask you, what pain are you going to choose? What pain are you going to choose, whether it's the pain of discipline or the pain of regret? And if that's just starting a new week and saying, hey, I'm going to do one thing a day. I'm going to write one thing down that I don't want to do, and I'm going to check that box off. And another side note, write the things down that you need to do in a day. Maybe not every little thing you can get there, but write 3 things that you need to do. And if it's a workout, like don't just write workout, right? I'm gonna do a leg workout today, or leg workout, right? Like be specific so your brain says, hey, legs. Oh, like, you know, and then go back and check it off. Physically write it and check it off. I challenge you to do that maybe next week. Whatever day that you're listening to this, plan your week out on a Sunday, and the night before you go to bed every day, write out what you're gonna do. I do it every single day. I would show you my journal, I've done it before, and physically check it off and strike it through. I promise you, you'll feel more organized, you'll feel a little more structure, and you'll probably feel those neurotransmitters start to fire. So I'm gonna stop rambling. I really enjoyed that topic. We're gonna end this thing with a random question generator. Thought Juju was, mountains or ocean? Wow. That's a hard one. That's probably one of the hardest questions ever. Honestly, I live in an ocean. I can see mountains. I'm very grateful the mountains are right there as well. If I had to pick, it depends on the vibe. Like in the summer, I want to be on the beach, in the ocean, and the energy of the people, and like the crashing waves, the positive ions. Talked about that in the grounding podcast. Did I do a grounding podcast? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. I did one about feet, or about the barefoot principle of shoes. Anyways, but then there's mountains, and it's like there's nothing I crave more a lot of times during the year than like a crisp morning with the trees and the smell, and just going on the porch or the back deck and drinking a cup of coffee and just like in the fresh nature. I don't know, I think probably more mountains. If I'm leaning one way or the other, if I could just like go and retire, I don't know, if I'm gonna retire tomorrow and just like never be seen again, it'd probably be on an island somewhere and have my own chickens and farm and just be a simplistic guy on an island. I don't know. That's all I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you next time. Have an awesome freaking day, and don't forget to smile.